What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to part 2 of Pep Guardiola in the non-league here in FM20. This is part 2 of this FM Simulates. I'll have a link at the top of the description if you want to check out the first part. Can I just say, before we get into this, massive thank you to you guys for your crazy response to this kind of experiment. Genuinely, I can't believe how many of you tuned in and absolutely loved it. So we're going to see how Pep gets on here. We're continuing on from where we left off. We're going to go forward a year in just a second. I just want to quickly, before we get into it, let you guys know that in the next week, probably next weekend, if you're watching this the week that this video goes up, we are going to have Mbappe trapped at a non-league club for 20 years. Can he take them all the way to the top? Will Mbappe, aged 40, just retire from football? How good will he be? I have no idea. It's going to be coming your way soon. So if you're excited for that, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And of course, you can follow me at WorkTheSpace. Anyway, guys, let's get into this. Let's go forward a year. This is where we left things last time. I want to know what's going to happen next. Pep's got promoted. How are they going to get on in the Vanarama National League? Let's find out, shall we? Okay guys, so we're back here, and just as a quick little recap, we left Boston United getting promoted in Pep's 4th season back to the National League. Their media prediction was 18th. If we just look at the league table here, they finished 15th apparently, which is a pretty average season. They won 15, drew 15, and lost 16. That's a lot of draws. In fact, why are there so many draws in this league? That is a ridiculous number of draws. Every single team, bar Havant and Waterlooville, got in double figures. But yes, unfortunately, Boston didn't achieve a great deal. I mean, they avoided the drop, I guess. That's got to be something, right? You can see here their key player apparently is Robert George of Swansea. He looks pretty good, doesn't he, the 19-year-old? He can play right back or left back. Not incredible defensively, but still pretty solid. It looks like they're continuing to play a 4-2-3-1. Judged by the fact that we're only in the 5th season here, and there's so many regens playing in Boston's starting 11, it would seem apparent that Pep's choosing to really focus on youth. If we just look at the transfers, has he been spending the cash? I mean, actually, to be fair, he's made some pretty big acquisitions. He brought in Sam Brown from Northampton. Wow, that's a pretty big signing, you'd say, really. Very good player, though. 19 years old. A bit of a weird assortment of positions that he can play. They also brought in Hanbury here, who's another regen. This guy, a Welshman from Stoke. So they have been splashing the cash, and a few other players, a guy joining from Millwall, they've gone for big players at kind of quite big teams, although I don't know if I like that media description of a mercenary. They haven't had to sell anyone either, and actually, I mean, you can see here kind of the history of their spending. That is the most money that they've spent by quite a large margin. It seems like they're going a little bit bigger. It'll be interesting to see, do they develop the youngsters that they've got? Can they get promoted from the Vanarama National League? I mean, pretty middling season. How did they do in cup competitions before we go forward again? They got knocked out in the 4th qualifying round of the FA Cup, and in the FA Trophy they got knocked out against Geesley. So, yeah, not a memorable season necessarily, but a bit of stability. They avoided the embarrassment of finishing bottom of the Vanarama National League like they did 3 years ago. And Pep is still in charge, and he has a contract until the end of next season at the very least, which is, I guess, positive if you're him. Anyway, let's go forward again. I'm really interested. Can he establish them? I have no idea. I feel like he's going to spend more money. Let's find out. Okay, guys, so it is 2025. Pep Guardiola, he's not been sacked, and he's got a contract until the end of next year. I also noticed, just starting here, his man management and motivating have both gone up to 20. So he's actually improving. Boston United are making Pep Guardiola a better manager. Not something I thought I'd say at the start of the year. Where did Boston finish? They finished 1st. What? I mean, I was concerned because the last season was the first season really where nothing happened. They finished mid-table, no cup run. They won the league. Their media prediction was 13th and they won the league. They got 102 points. They finished ahead of Swindon, who then won the playoffs. That is a crazy achievement. Look how far ahead Boston and Swindon were compared to the rest of the teams. Saxon here was the top goal scorer. He looks very good for this level. Incredibly technically gifted right winger. He got 17 goals from the right wing. I mean, that's not bad, is it? Wadham got the most assists for them at centre mid. How much money did they spend? Let's have a look here. So they actually spent less money than the previous year, And most of that was on Luke Zonner here, who is a Italian centre-back. And he's not a ball-playing centre-back. He's not Pep Guardiola's kind of centre-back, really. But for this level, he's absolutely exceptional. Signed from Warsaw. You can see they had him on loan a couple of years ago. Signed him permanently, so clearly Pep had a soft spot for him. They also signed this guy, South Thomas, from Bristol City. He looks very, very good for this level. 14 goals to his name. I'm curious, if we look at the Vanarama National League and Team Detailed, how are they setting up? Are they having a load of possession? I mean, no. Average possession, 49%. Compared to Swindon, who finished second in the league on 58%. That's a pretty big difference between the two sides. They did score the most goals, Boston United. They got 90 total. You can see a comparison to everyone else. That is significantly more than everyone else. I guess defensively, they've not been quite so good. They had the highest net transfer spend. Their salary was the second highest in the league, so maybe you expect them to get promoted based off that. It seems like Pep Guardiola is being given money, but he's actually spending it quite smartly. You can see Boston, I think 7,000 fans turn up to each and every game. Looking at landmarks here, not anything new happened in terms of takeovers or anything, but yeah, 2 seasons it took Pep from getting them into the Vanarama National to getting them into the Football League, which is a really big achievement because the National League is a horrible league to get out of. You have to come top or second. That means next year they're going to be playing in League 2. I'm a little bit concerned they've risen through the ranks too quickly and they might struggle to adapt now, but, well, we'll have to wait and see. You can see their team here. Very, very good side. How did they do in cup competitions? Let's have a look, shall we? FA Cup, they made it through to the third round where they lost to Birmingham 4-0, but I imagine that got them some pretty good money. They did get a little bit embarrassed in that game there. And then in the FA Trophy, they lost against Tranmere in after extra time in the replay. But all things considering, it looks like they did very well. They won their last 3 games in a row. How did Swindon do? Because obviously this would have gone down to the wire. Did Swindon bottle it on the last day of the season, or did Boston just have to win? It looks like they did bottle it, actually. Swindon lost and drew a game in their last 2. So, yeah, Swindon, I'm sorry. I mean, in the nicest possible way, you have screwed that up. You can see they were the 2 teams battling it out, but on that last day of the season, drama, scenes, as Boston got promoted. I mean, they're in the Football League now. I mean, as a Boston fan, it makes you feel like maybe we should just get Pep in charge. Maybe that would be the difference maker. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Going into the Football League, can he keep them up? I don't have a sausage. Let's go find out. I can't quite believe I'm saying this. Pep is still in charge. He's not been sacked. He's got a contract until the end of next year now. He's actually wanted by Sunderland. Which does beg the question, if he was to get poached away, do we just keep following his career? Or do we just say, that's the experiment, that's what he did in non-league? Let me know. Maybe we could check the adventures of Pep. If we just look at Boston United here, I'm going to intentionally avoid looking at where they finished. You can see here he is an icon now at the club, so that's pretty good. And, speaking of League 2, where did they finish? Their prediction was 21st, and they finished 14th. So it's another mid-table finish for them, but considering they've just got promoted, punched above their weight to get here, I'd say he's done pretty well. Wayne Arnold is their key player. He is actually a player who started at the club. That's really cool to see. So an actual regen who Boston United had. He's born and bred. 11 goals he got this year. And considered their key player. Their hot prospect, I'm now curious, is Carl Powell, who they poached from Morecambe in the summer. Who else did they sign? They spent £170,000. Powell was actually the big addition there. Then a few others. They got Ryan Graham, who looks like a very good player from Accrington. Robbie Reid, rather, formerly of Villa, formerly of Hull as well. You can see they signed him for not a massive amount of money, all things considering, and he played every single game. And they also signed this guy, Bradshaw, from Telford. Interesting. How did Telford end up with a guy this good? He looks very good for this level. He actually didn't play that many league games, so maybe I'm overstating his ability. Right. I mean, he's punched above his weight. He's got a contract till the end of next year. I'm curious, did they have more or less possession than they did previously? It's trying to get a feel for how Pep's been playing with the team. They had 50% of possession, so Yeah, what about their goal scoring form? Their home form, by the way, to end the season was absolutely superb. In terms of goals scored, they had the 8th most in the league, so it seems like Pep is very much about just outscoring opposition. You can see Boston had the highest average attendance and the highest stadium sellouts. Makes you wonder if they might try and expand it in the coming years. Looking at the landmarks here, nothing new of note there. If we just look at facilities, I mean, the facilities could probably do with a little bit of an upgrade. But Boston are doing pretty well. They've established themselves as a Football League side. They've got £6 million in the bank. They're laughing, really, aren't they? They're doing pretty blooming well. I mean, I'd be happy with this alternative dimension. I know someone's going to ask, how have Man City done since Pep left? I don't actually know. I've not checked. Okay, they've won the league all but 1 year. So the Man City didn't need Pep, is what we've learned. Who have they had in charge? They've had Ancelotti, who's come in and been in charge for 7 years. Let's make sure, if you're one of the Man City boardroom kind of people watching this video, don't pay attention to this. Keep Pep. You don't need Ancelotti. I mean, he's done pretty well with them, hasn't he? Not as well as Pep's done with Boston, mind you. Man, I love what he's done here. How did he get on in the Cup? They were in the EFL Trophy. They didn't make any progress in that. And in the FA Cup second round, they lost to Bolton. Not the most inspiring thing. Looking at it, they had a really big pickup of form at the end of the year. If we look at past league positions, I mean, I was expecting to see them climb up the league a lot more. They've never really been in risk of being relegated. But yeah, a middle-of-the-road season for Boston, but a season of stability, certainly. Anyway, let's go forward to 2027. It's going to mark how many years? 8 years of Pep Guardiola in charge of Boston. I think we'll call it after that for this video. If you want to see a part 3, please do let me know. And, well, without further ado, let's see how Pep's got on. Can he lead them to the promised land, or does he need to worry about avoiding the drop? Let's find out. Okay, guys, so it is 2027. I'm really enjoying this video, this experiment. I think part of it is just wondering what's going to happen next, and the other part of it is I'm a Boston fan, so seeing one of my teams do well, you know, it fills me with some joy. But yes, Pep's still in charge. The owner is loving his life at the club. They finished 4th in the league. That's just outside the automatic promotion spots. But they won the playoffs. Oh, I love this. They beat Peterborough. So that's a bit of a local derby, Peterborough v Boston, as far as, you know, in the East Midlands derbies go. They're two teams close together. You can see here Ben Nurse and Wayne Arnold getting the goals after Wes Highland was sent off. Oh, who was the hero? I mean, Midson got man of the match. Look how good he is. Jeez. They got him on a free transfer from Watford. He is nuts for this level. It seems like Pep's signed some very good players. Wyn Jones was their key player, who they've got on loan from Forest. He's very good as well. One thing I'm noting here is he's got a lot of regens in his team. I guess we are 8 years in the future now, but they are very, very good players. The fact they've got promoted is awesome. Their media prediction was 20th. Defying the odds, defying expectations. Estimated value has now gone up to 12 million as well, which is cool. They've not expanded the stadium anymore, but I mean, they've got a promotion in the bags. How much money did they spend? Wow, okay, they didn't spend a lot of money at all. In fact, pretty much peanuts, £1,300. So Pep choosing to keep faith in the players that he had, and you can kind of see the past spending here of Boston. It's like been ramping down, hasn't it, how much they're spending? How much money have they got in the bank? I'm curious. They've got £1.9 million in the bank. They've got £1.3 million if they want to spend, and they've got 200, or not 200, but £20,000 free in the wages. You can see here, Wayne Arnold was their top goal scorer. He's the hometown hero. I absolutely love that. He's a little hero. And then Wadham got most assists. Again, this guy's just a little beast. He had 1 year where he wasn't quite at the races, but 12 assists this year. That's a really pretty good achievement. Clearly Pep is getting the most out of him. Dylan Barnes got the most. Did he get most assists? Oh no, most player of the matches. Wow, okay, so the goalkeeper, Dylan Barnes, with the most player of the matches. Does that tell a story? Quite possibly. I mean, I'm impressed. He looks like he's a very good player for them as well. And yeah, in goal, he's definitely been a difference maker. That is absolutely incredible that they've managed to go up. He's wanted by a few teams, which does have me worried. Oxford and Peterborough want him. His contract expires at the end of next year. Why are Boston not giving him a longer contract? I don't have a Scooby-Doo. Give him the keys to the town. Just give him anything he wants. How did they get on in cup competitions? In the EFL Cup, they got knocked out in the second round. In the FA Cup, they got knocked out by Aston Villa in the third round. Wow, and you can see they won the playoffs. They beat Forest Green and then they beat Peterborough in the playoff final. I didn't actually look at the league table. Were they close to the team in third? They were 1 point behind Accrington Stanley, but had pretty significantly worse goal difference, despite having won the same amount of games. It seems like Boston maybe scraped a few wins by, and their goalkeeper was a little bit of a hero for them. Just looking at the team overview here, you can see in terms of average attendances, where were Boston? They were 5th, so they did pretty well there. Goals scored, how were they for goals? Only the 7th highest. I say only, lots of teams tied there, but not too crazy. They weren't creating a whole lot of chances either, which is interesting. Defending-wise, they had the 4th best defence. You can see, in League 2, every single team averaged more than 1 goal conceded a game. So if you wanted a league full of entertainment, this was the league to be watching this year. Worth noting, actually, they include the playoff games in this, so that's a few extra games where they could have conceded. But Pep's Boston United have done pretty well. Better than I was expecting. The fact they're going to be in League 1 next year is slightly mind-boggling to me. I didn't expect him to do as well as this. I tried this experiment last year. I talked about this last time and he just got sacked after 1 year. But it seems like actually at Boston United, he's found his calling. If anyone from Boston United's, watching this, all I can say is consider approaching Pep and see if he's interested, because he might be able to make some magical stuff happen. Maybe I'm not being entirely realistic there. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap things up from here for today. I hope you've enjoyed. I've loved this. This is so cool to see and just look at. If you'd like to see a part 3 where we see what Pep gets up to, please do let me know. If you've enjoyed this video, as always, do drop a like on it. Click subscribe so you never miss a video from us. Mbappe in the non-leagues and stuck at a non-league club. It's going to be a fun one to watch. I have no idea what's going to happen with that one. That was actually a viewer suggestion last video as well. So, of course, if you've got your own ideas for stuff you'd like to see simulated, please do let me know them. And, yeah, that is going to be all from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.